Hello everyone and welcome. Today we are going to delve into the fascinating world of Matthew Goode, the British heartthrob who conquered Hollywood but chose something completely different. We're talking about an actor who turned down LA fame for something far more valuable, his family. If you like to know the real stories behind the stars, hit the like button and subscribe because this story is going to surprise you. Did you know that Matthew Goode could be living the star life in a Beverly Hills mansion, but instead chose a completely private existence in the English countryside? Today we will discover why this 47-year-old man, with a net worth of $6 million, lives what he himself calls a shut-in lifestyle, and why that decision has made him more successful than ever. Matthew William Goode was born on April 3, 1978 in Exeter, England, into a family destined to create extraordinary people. He was the youngest of 5 siblings, and from a young age showed that he was different. His father was a geologist, a profession that requires patience and precision, while his mother Jennifer worked as a nurse and ran a local amateur theater. This combination of science and art shaped Matthew's unique personality from a very young age. What many don't know is that artistic talent ran through the entire Goode family. His sister Sally Mean became a well-known British television presenter, showing that the ability to be in front of the camera was natural in this family. Matthew grew up watching his mother combine caring for others as a nurse with her passion for theater, a lesson he would later apply in his own life by balancing his career with his family. During his youth in Exeter, Matthew showed a natural curiosity about the world around him. He wasn't the typical child who dreams of being an actor from a young age. In fact, it was his exposure to his mother's amateur theater that sparked his interest in acting. He would spend entire afternoons watching rehearsals, absorbing not only acting techniques, but also the dedication and teamwork required to create something beautiful. His formal education first took him to the University of Birmingham, where he studied before making the life-changing decision to enroll at the prestigious Webber Douglas Academy of Dramatic Art in London. This institution has trained some of the most respected British actors, and Matthew was no exception. Here he not only perfected his technique, but also developed the philosophy that would guide him throughout his career, acting as a service to the story, not as a pursuit of personal fame. Matthew's film debut came in 2003 with South from Granada, a film that, while not a major commercial success, demonstrated his ability to carry independent projects with emotional depth. But it was in 2004 that Hollywood really noticed his presence with Chasing Liberty, where he starred alongside Mandy Moore. This film opened the doors to the American industry for him, but Matthew had already made a fundamental decision. He would not move to Los Angeles. The year 2005 marked a turning point in his career when Woody Allen chose him for Match Point. Working with one of the most respected directors in cinema not only validated his talent, but also taught him something crucial about the industry. Allen, known for his extremely reserved private life, became a role model for Matthew. He saw how it was possible to have a successful career without sacrificing personal privacy. But it was Watchmen, in 2009, that really put Matthew on the international map. His portrayal of Ozymandias, the most complex villain in the film, demonstrated his range as an actor. He could be the romantic lead, the independent drama protagonist, and also the intellectual and physically imposing antagonist. This versatility became his trademark, but also his strategy to maintain control over his career. Throughout these years of professional rise, Matthew maintained something that many actors lose along the way: his personal life intact. In 2005, the same year as Match Point, he met Sophie Dymoke, a fashion designer who worked for prestigious brands. Sophie was not part of the entertainment world, and that was exactly what attracted Matthew. She represented normality, stability, and the possibility of having a real life outside the spotlight. His relationship with Sophie developed far from the paparazzi and gossip magazines. While other actors of his generation were involved in public romances and dramatic breakups, Matthew and Sophie were building something solid and lasting. She understood the demands of his career but also set clear boundaries on what she was willing to sacrifice for his fame. The couple married in 2014 after 9 years of dating, in a private ceremony that perfectly reflected their life philosophy: elegant, intimate, and completely away from the media circus. The wedding was so private that many media outlets didn't even find out until months later. This discretion became the hallmark of their marriage. By 2009, when Matthew was 31 years old, his first daughter, Matilda, arrived. Becoming a father completely changed his perspective on success and priorities. In later interviews, Matthew confessed that holding Matilda for the first time made him rethink every professional decision he had made. It was no longer just about him and Sophie. Now he had a little person who depended on him for much more than money. Matilda, now 16, grew up watching her father turn down multi-million-dollar offers from Hollywood because they required moving to Los Angeles or spending months away from home. Matthew established an unbreakable rule. No project would be worth it if it meant missing important moments in his children's lives. This decision, which many in the industry considered professionally suicidal, turned out to be his greatest strength. In 2013, Teddy, their second child, arrived, and with him a new confirmation that Matthew had chosen the right path. Teddy, now 11, inherited his father's intellectual curiosity and his mother's creativity. Matthew often talks about how Teddy asks questions that challenge him more than any director he has ever worked with. The youngest of the family, Ralph, arrived in 2015 when Matthew was 37 years old. Ralph, now 9, completed what Matthew considers his greatest achievement, a stable and happy family. With 3 children at different stages of development, Matthew and Sophie have created a home where each personality can flourish without the pressure of public scrutiny. The decision to keep their children out of the public eye has not been easy. In an era where many celebrities share every family moment on social media, Matthew and Sophie have chosen the opposite path. Their children attend local schools in Surrey, participate in normal activities, and most of their classmates don't even know that their father is an actor. This family life philosophy is reflected in every professional decision Matthew has made since becoming a father. When he was offered roles in big franchises that required multi-year commitments and international moves, Matthew turned them down without hesitation. His agent initially thought he was crazy, but the results spoke for themselves. His role in The Imitation Game in 2014 showed that he didn't need to sacrifice quality for family proximity. The film, which told the story of Alan Turing, was shot primarily in the UK, allowing Matthew to maintain his family routine while participating in what would become an Oscar-nominated film. But it was his involvement in Downton Abbey that really consolidated his professional strategy. Joining the cast in 2014 as Henry Talbot, Matthew found the perfect balance. The series was filmed in England, had predictable schedules, and allowed him to be home for family dinner most nights. His character, the race car driver who marries Lady Mary, reflected his own philosophy, a successful man who finds his greatest fulfillment in love and family. The success of Downton Abbey continued with the 2019 and 2022 films, establishing Matthew as part of one of the most successful British franchises of the decade. But most importantly, everything remained in familiar territory, literally and figuratively. Let's talk now about Matthew's financial situation, because this is where his strategy really shines. With an estimated net worth of $6 million, Matthew is not the richest actor in Hollywood, but he has achieved something that many industry millionaires envy: true wealth of life. His income comes from multiple carefully selected sources. Residuals from Downton Abbey provide him with a steady stream of income, especially with the renewed popularity of the series on streaming platforms. His stakes in films like Match Point and The Imitation Game continue to generate royalties years after their release. But Matthew's smartest financial decision has been his extreme selectivity with projects. By turning down offers that don't align with his family values, he has created an artificial scarcity of his talent that increases his market value. Producers know that if Matthew accepts a project, it's because he truly believes in it, which adds credibility and quality to the final product. His latest project, Department Q, for Netflix, perfectly exemplifies this strategy. The series about cold cases in Scotland is filmed in the UK, has a schedule that respects his family life, and allows him to explore a different genre without compromising his principles. Netflix paid a considerable sum for his services, precisely because they knew they were getting not only a talented actor but one completely committed to the project. The family home in Surrey represents much more than a simple residence. It is the center of Matthew's life philosophy. Unlike the ostentatious mansions of Beverly Hills, the Goode property is elegant but discreet, large but cozy. Sophie has been primarily responsible for the interior design, creating spaces that reflect both her aesthetic sensibility and the practical needs of a family with 3 active children. The garden is where Matthew spends many of his free hours, often accompanied by Maggie, his brown boxer dog who has become a minor celebrity in the neighborhood. Neighbors often see Matthew walking Maggie in the mornings, dressed not like a movie star, but like any suburban father starting his day. The decision to live in Surrey instead of central London was deliberate. Here, the children can ride bikes on the streets, play in real gardens, and grow up with a sense of normality that would be impossible in the center of any big city. Matthew often says he wants his children to remember their childhood for family moments, not for camera flashes. Sophie has been instrumental in maintaining this normality. As a fashion designer, she understands the world of glamour and image, but has consciously chosen to keep that part of her life separate from her role as a mother. When she attends industry events, she does so professionally, but always returns home to simply be the mom of Matilda, Teddy, and Ralph. The Goode family's daily routine is surprisingly normal. Matthew wakes up early, often before the rest of the family, to review scripts or respond to work-related emails. This quiet hour allows him to handle the business aspects of his career without interfering with family time. Breakfasts are sacred in the Goode household. No matter how busy Matthew is with a project, he is always present for family breakfast. It is during these meals that the day is planned, the children's school activities are discussed, and the family connects before each one goes to their respective responsibilities. Sophie handles the family logistics with the efficiency of a CEO. She coordinates school schedules, extracurricular activities, and medical appointments, while also maintaining her own career in fashion design. This equitable partnership in domestic responsibilities has been key to the success of their marriage. Afternoons at the Goode house vary depending on the season and the children's school commitments. Matilda, at 16, is at that typically teenage stage where she values time with friends more than with family, but Matthew and Sophie have managed to keep lines of communication open. She often asks her father for advice on topics ranging from academic pressure to the complexities of teenage friendships. Teddy, at 11, is at what Matthew considers the most fun age. He is old enough to have real conversations, but still young enough to get excited about family adventures. He often accompanies Matthew on hikes in the countryside, where they have their best father-son conversations. Ralph, the 9-year-old, is pure energy and curiosity. Matthew often jokes that Ralph asks more questions in a day than a journalist in an entire press conference. These questions, ranging from why is the sky blue to what happens when we die, keep Matthew mentally agile and emotionally connected to the wonder of seeing the world through a child's eyes. Weekends are when the family really connects. Unlike many families where each member is absorbed in their own electronic device, the Goodes have established technology-free periods where they focus completely on shared activities. These can be hikes in the countryside, board games, cooking together, or simply reading in the same room. Matthew is particularly proud of the family traditions they have established. Sunday mornings are for pancakes made from scratch, a recipe he learned from his mother and is now teaching his own children. It is during these quiet moments that the family really connects, sharing stories, plans, and simply enjoying each other's company. Matthew's philosophy on fatherhood focuses on being present, not just physically but emotionally. He has turned down projects that required extensive travel during important moments in his children's lives. When Matilda had her first school dance, Matthew was there. When Teddy scored his first soccer goal, Matthew was in the stands. When Ralph had nightmares, Matthew was there to comfort him. This constant presence does not mean he is an overprotective father. On the contrary, Matthew and Sophie have raised their children to be independent and confident. They understand that their father is an actor, but that is just his job, not his complete identity. At home, he is simply dad, with all the responsibilities and joys that entails. The children's education has been another area where Matthew and Sophie have made deliberate decisions. They chose local schools with a good academic reputation, but without the prestige that could attract unwanted attention. They want their children to be judged on their own merits, not on their father's fame. Matilda is at an age where she is beginning to better understand her father's career. She has seen some of his more age-appropriate films and is proud of his work, but she has also expressed that she has no interest in pursuing a career in acting. Matthew completely agrees with this decision. He wants his children to choose their own paths based on their real passions, not on external expectations. Teddy shows more curiosity about the process of making films. He sometimes accompanies Matthew to the set when filming is done near home and is fascinated by the technical aspects of cinematography. Matthew does not push him in any direction, but enjoys sharing the creative aspects of his work when Teddy shows genuine interest. Ralph is still at the age where he thinks all professions are equally fascinating. One day he wants to be a veterinarian, the next an astronaut, and occasionally an actor like Dad. Matthew and Sophie encourage this curiosity without pressing towards any specific direction. Matthew's approach to success has evolved significantly since his early years in the industry. Initially, like many young actors, he measured success in terms of public recognition and high-profile opportunities. Now, he defines success very differently, the ability to maintain a fulfilling career without compromising his family life. This philosophy has extended to his role choices. Matthew no longer accepts characters simply because the project could be commercially successful. Instead, he looks for roles that challenge him artistically and align with his personal values. Department Q is a perfect example, a project that allows him to explore the thriller genre while staying true to his family principles. The industry has begun to recognize the value of the stability that Matthew brings to projects. Directors know that when Matthew commits to a project, he will arrive prepared, professional, and fully present. There are no personal dramas, no distractions, just a dedicated actor focused on doing the best possible job. This reputation for reliable professionalism has made Matthew more in demand, not less, despite his geographic and scheduling restrictions. Producers are willing to work within his parameters because they know the final result will be superior. Matthew's relationship with fame is complex but well-defined. He does not completely shun public attention. He understands that a certain level of promotion is necessary for the success of his projects. But he has set clear boundaries about which aspects of his life are available for public consumption. His media appearances are strategic and controlled. He will participate in interviews to promote his work, but rarely talks about intimate details of his family life. When he appears on shows like Saturday Kitchen on BBC, he does so with Sophie by his side, presenting himself as a united couple but maintaining a certain professional distance. Social media is a territory that Matthew navigates carefully. He has a presence on platforms like Instagram, but uses it mainly to promote professional projects and occasionally share carefully selected family moments. He never posts photos that clearly show his children's faces or reveal specific details about their location. This strategy of limited but effective media has created an aura of mystery that actually increases his public appeal. In an era of celebrity overexposure, Matthew's relative privacy makes him more intriguing, not less. Matthew's fans respect his desire for family privacy, in part because he has never been condescending or rude about it. He has simply set clear boundaries and maintained them consistently. When fans meet him in public, he is kind and accessible, but also professional about what he will share. The future looks bright for Matthew Goode, both professionally and personally. Department Q marks his first serious foray into global streaming, which could open new opportunities without requiring geographic or time commitments that would compromise his family life. He is in talks for several projects that would be filmed in the UK or Europe, maintaining his philosophy of keeping work close to home. European producers, in particular, are eager to work with him, recognizing both his talent and his professionalism. Sophie continues to build her own career in fashion design, with several exciting projects in development. The couple has found a balance where both can pursue their professional passions without compromising their family commitment. The children are growing up well, each developing their own personality and interests. Matilda is considering universities for a couple of years from now, a transition that Matthew and Sophie are carefully navigating. They want to support her growing independence while maintaining strong family connections. Teddy is entering adolescence with curiosity and confidence, traits that Matthew attributes to the family stability they have maintained. Ralph continues to be the energy and joy of the family, reminding everyone of the importance of finding wonder in the ordinary. The house in Surrey remains the center of everything. Matthew and Sophie have discussed the possibility of a second residence, perhaps something on the European continent for family vacations, but nothing that would compromise their stable base in England. Financially, Matthew is in a solid position. He has wisely invested the income from his successful projects, building a portfolio that will allow him to maintain his chosen lifestyle, even if he decides to reduce his workload in the future. Financial security gives him the freedom to be even more selective with his projects. The legacy that Matthew is building is not measured in box office or awards, although he has been successful in both. It is measured in the quality of life he has created for his family and the example he is setting on how to navigate fame without losing humanity. His children are growing up with a nuanced understanding of success. They see that their father is professionally respected, but also that he has never allowed that profession to dominate his personal life. This lesson about balance is perhaps the most valuable gift he can give them. Matthew Goode has shown that it is possible to have a successful career in Hollywood without living the Hollywood lifestyle. He has rejected the narrative that success requires extreme personal sacrifice, instead creating a model where professional fulfillment and personal happiness reinforce each other. His story is particularly relevant in a time when many people struggle to find balance between professional ambition and personal well-being. Matthew has shown that it is not only possible to have both, but that one can enhance the other when managed with intention and wisdom. For Matthew's fans, his story continues to be inspiring precisely because he has chosen authenticity over image, substance over spectacle, and reality over fantasy. In a world of carefully constructed celebrities, Matthew Goode remains refreshingly real. And that, perhaps, is the most important lesson of his lifestyle in 2025. That true success is not measured by what you get, but by what you choose to keep. Matthew chose to keep his family, his privacy, and his integrity, and in doing so, he has gained something that no amount of fame or money can buy: a life well lived. If you liked learning the true story behind Matthew Goode, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more content about the real lives of the stars you admire. And tell us in the comments what you think about Matthew's choice to prioritize family over fame. Do you think he made the right decision? See you in the next video.